smtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. I hope y'all are having a lovely day today. Some point my camera will turn on. There we go. Hi, everybody. Hope y'all are doing good. If you'd like to support the training channel, feel free to pick up one of these annual subscription bundles. We do a lot of, I always get comments about this in my chat at some point. I get them regularly. I think at least once or twice a month, I'll see them at least. People go like, hey, the streams are really cool. You guys cover a lot of topics, but the format doesn't really work for me. I don't like the hour-long content. I don't like the interactivity, etc. Usually they require like more focused discussions. And while we have like really serious discussions, the live streams are by their nature a little unfocused because we like to react and interact with the community. It's a big part of what we're doing. So if you need really focused, detailed videos, we make those. We have those for sale. Feel free to pick up one of those subscription bundles. I can say that. Uh, and grab one and use it to your heart's desire. We cover a lot of topics. We cover server, we cover UI, we cover Go, we cover pretty much everything you need to know to be a functioning developer in FileMaker Pro. Okay, I think we're probably good. Nick, hello, hi, how are you doing? What are we doing
Hello, I'm
today?
doing good. Thank you. Thank you everybody for joining today. So today is another day about the design and about how to build our own components, right? On the layout. So yesterday we start building this nice tab control, which is replacement of the old and dated tab control they have FileMaker, which it's an object that I don't even try to use anymore. So today we're going to continue this and we're going to improve this, and I'm going to answer questions if there's questions, and we're going to follow this this week. Tomorrow will be about building our own object like this, right? And next week will be the spacing, organization, about the layout, the verticality and everything. I'm going to talk about things like this, right? Okay, so do we have any question from yesterday? I don't think so. If we have question,
We did
pending
actually,
question,
we did
yeah.
actually have one that snuck in at the last second.
Uh-huh.
He's asking why you needed to refresh objects.
Okay, so yeah, it's a good question. So let's go and share my screen, and then we can start talking about this topic. Okay. So what is triggering? What's trigger an object to refresh itself, and what's not? Okay. So pretty much when you have a validation. So when you have a field. So let's. I don't know if I have a field. If I have a field, right? So when we have a field here, right? So what happened in the field, So this is the committed state, right? And then we have the open state, right? Selected state, open selected state. And then we have, when we click, right? We have a intermediate state between, I can show you with the trigger, by the way. Okay. We have the enter, we have the modify, we have the validate, we have the save, and the exit. This is all what happened when you enter, when you select whatever, change, modify, edit, when you validate, save, and exit the objects. So, okay. When this happen in the process, when you click outside, when that happen, when you have the validation, at that point, that will trigger the refreshing of objects that depends to that, to that field. So let's explain. So let me demonstrate. If I say here, if I change this, and I don't depend on the variable, but I depend on that field, okay? If I say the field that is activate is number 2, right? If I click poof, it refresh. If I said free, if I click poof, it refresh. If I said this, poof, it refresh. Why? Is because I have the save states, the validation state. The validation will trigger the validation in the field. You have an implicit save, an implicit refresh, right? You know what I'm saying? But that's a problem, and that's a huge problem. And that's why sometimes you have a very, very slow layout, right? Is because if you have a lot of uh, state like this, or if you have a lot of hidden state, or if you have a lot of conditional, the conditional, right? Depending on the fields, if you have a lot of those, that's slow down everything because it has to refresh all those things. Okay. So I typically don't use that technique here for this, right? Because I don't want to set a field each time you change you change a slide, because this is too much. Setting a field is not a small event, it's a big event. It's not a small one. Setting a variable has no cost whatsoever, in terms of performance. Saving a field, yes, they are. And you have another problem. Saving a field, you have setting a field, you have the lock, you lock your record all the time. So clicking here, you lock the record. Clicking here, you lock the record. Clicking here, you lock the record. So not only I need to say set fields in the scripts, right? Not only I should have say, instead of set variable, I would have said set field and whatever, but then I would have to say commit the record, because otherwise setting this, you lock your record. You don't want to do that. It's way too much, right? So that's why I'm using variable. But the downside of setting a variable is that I don't have the save state, I don't have the validate state, I don't have none of those, because I don't touch any fields, right? So it's way lighter, but you have the duty to refresh the objects which belong that calculation. And that statements about refreshing the objects, if the calculation that trigger the calculation that trigger the appearance, you need to refresh the object when you use a variable. Could be this appearance, could be the hidden state appearance, or could be the conditional. You need to refresh the objects, which is not a big deal at all. There's no performance problem when you target one object, right? So I'm going to talk about the refreshing object later I will be done with this. But that's why, okay, when you have a variable involved in the calculation of a refreshing object, I mean, of an object, of the appearance of an object, you need to refresh the given object. Yeah, you need to refresh it, right? You refresh the object, don't refresh the window, because this is also too much. You don't need that. You refresh the object. That's why, for example, here I said in the script here, okay, refresh that object, right? I'd send the name of the object in a variable, in a parameter here, right? So is that okay? That the answer?
I think so.
Okay. So do we have another one
Someone
about the
asked me about
question?
the example files.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'm going to. Yeah, I can send you something today. You know,
mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I will send you.
Then I can share it tomorrow. Okay. Other than
Yes.
that, you're good to go.
Okay. So yesterday I said, okay, we here to show you the most modern and the most advanced technique possible. The boss sometimes said, yeah, you're too advanced about people. Yeah, but it's not because, people doesn't know to read Shakespeare that they don't have to have a glance of you know, of the, of reading Shakespeare. We can explain to them that reading Shakespeare is, it's more advanced than reading a TikToker, right? But, it's, you know, I don't want to deprive you about the latest and most advanced technique possible just because, oh, we assume you cannot get it. I don't like that. I want to show you, right? And I will take time to explain to you the best manner possible to raise the level of your knowledge in FileMaker. I don't, you know what I mean? And I'm not like, because the other developers, they keep for themselves everything they know, like jealously, right? They don't want to share. Oh no, this is my I don't care. You know why? Because I'm going to show you something today that you never saw anywhere, right? But tomorrow I will find out something else to show you next time. You know, don't worry about that. I'm not afraid of sharing with you what it took me like years to learn. I don't care. I'm proud of it, and I want you to learn, right? Some people challenge me and say, "Oh yeah, we don't need that." Yeah, you need, and I'll show you. Okay, so um, here we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. The problem is that I don't want, okay, I was doing that before. For each single slide control that I was using that way, I needed to build a damn script that was for this. Okay. What's the name? I had to build a script for that, for all of them. And it was too much for me, right? It was way too much. And so that's why I use another technique. And something that I'm going to show you, but it doesn't apply just for this, right? It doesn't apply just for this. It applies for many, many things. I want to teach you something that advanced. Okay, so follow me. Do you know, do you know that you can create a variable from a calculation? Who knew that you can create a variable, you can set a variable, or also outside of the set variable script step? Who knew about this? I talked about that before, but who knew about this?
Uh, someone, Top Cat, David, Jesse, they've all said yes. I've also seen a lot of your shows. Mikey says
Okay,
yes, they use it.
yeah, okay. So I'm going to explain again for other people, right?
Hmm.
So you can definitely set a variable from a calculation, from the let calculation. Here I say this is my variable, okay, equal Nick. And now, because I did that in the let statement, if I go there, poof, this is my variable Nick. If I go to the calc and I change to Nicholas, well, now it's Nicholas. If I say equal blank, well, it goes away. So I can set a, a variable outside of the traditional regular set variable script step, right? This is one way. Then you have another way. And one day I will do like two webinars about this, about how to set a variable, and you can't even imagine what you can do with this. It's a yoop. You can't even imagine. You know, it's like understanding the black hole of the FileMaker world universe. Okay, so but today I'm going to show you a more advanced way to set a variable. Right? Is to say, so let's go, and I'm going to put that field here, right? I blank it, and I say, well, I want to set a variable, right? Which is this. Okay. So I blank this and I say, I want the variable to be named as this. Okay. This and the field, right? So I want the variable to be set as this, right? So, but it will be like this, right? So, sorry, because I have a calc already done, but I can't find it. I lost. I don't remember where I did. So I want this to be like this, right? Like a calc, like a text. It's a piece of text, okay? Like this and like this. So this is what is returned. So I need to put something in that field, like this is my new variable. So I put this in that field, right? So now I have this, okay? Right? I have this, hold on. Right? I have this. So this is a text. With using FileMaker, I'm going to explain, don't worry. This is a text, right? But it looks like, okay, it looks like a calculation, right? But it's a text, right? And I can add something like this. So the name, so I have the field here. So let me put another field. Let me put another field, field 2, right? Let me put another field. I have the field 1, right? And I have the field 2 here, okay? Right? Don't worry, I'm going to explain. And in my text here, I said, so I want to, do equal, right? Like this, equal. And I put the field 2 and this. Here's missing this here. So now I have this. So if I copy this text, it's a piece of text. This is a text, but it looks like a calc. Okay, it looks like a calc, right? If I create a calc and I paste this, right? So he said, Nick, this is my, oh, yeah. So now this, right? This will do this, right? So this is a calc. So this is a valid calc, correct? Right? I need to quote that, by the way. Right? So if I take this, right, the way it is, I blank this. So now it's gone, okay? It's gone. But if I go there and I paste this as a calc and I validate this, boom, it works. Correct? So how I can transform a piece of text, right? This is the text, how I can transform that as a calculation, a real calc. This is for FileMaker, this is a text. right? It's like, I don't know, it's like doing this, for FileMaker, it's like doing this, or, like this, doing this, right? And space and this. It's like doing a piece of text. With a calculation, at the end you get a piece of text. But it appears that this piece of text looks like a piece of calc. So I take this and I said, evaluate this. And here what happened. So let's destroy this, right? This is my new variable, Nicholas, right? I evaluate this. It's evaluated, correct? Let's say now I put Nick here. What happened? So need to go there and refresh value. Nick. I didn't change, so I can put that. I can put like Nick Hunter, right? And if I refresh the calc, Nick Hunter. But look this. What happened if I say this whatever I I can rename my variable, right? And I refresh this, poof, and boom, I have a new one. I can rename my variable. So now I can programmatically name the variable the way I want from a calc. No more a static name of the variable that you have here. This cannot be calculated. I cannot force this to, if I type the name tab_1, this is what I'm going to get forever. I won't be able to calculate this. Now I can get the name of the variable from anywhere. I can put whatever I damn want. And if I refresh this, poof, I have another one, whatever I damn want. I can name variables by calculation. So is that not cool?
Yes. That's insanely cool.
Right? That's insanely cool, because now I don't need to have a script for each damn slide, because the problem I have here, I do need a variable name for each slide, a variable name, a dollar something. It needs to be unique per slide, but I don't need to hard code the name like I was doing here, right? So for you guys that doesn't want to understand what's going on here, I'm going to come back to the evaluation later, okay? But now that I have this, now that this is done, correct? I can copy this and give you a gift, a custom function. And then you don't have to understand what's going on here, So I can say by Nick Hunter, I can get paternity. I cannot get paternity of the cat, but of that function, yes, So this is my stuff, okay? So evaluate. This is get variable name, right? Get variable name. And, oh no, it's set variable name, okay? And here I said variable. So the name, right? and here data, because here I can put whatever I want, correct? So name and data, right? And I said this is the name and this is the data. So now we have a nice, beautiful, you know, I can destroy this and say class set variable name. This is my name I want, so I can set the field 1 and here the field 2, right? So if I say if I want this to be tab 11111, right? I refresh value, what? Tab 1111, you can enter, right? So now I can do whatever I want, right? So here we have a problem here. Why set, oh, because I put the, my bad. Yeah. Boom, it's there. No, it's there. Tab 111 here, okay? So yeah, it doesn't clear until you say this, then it clears, right? If I want to clear this variable here, I need to put the same name and clear it, right? With blank. Dollar time one dollar. Yeah, okay. When refresh value doesn't want to go away. I don't know why. Oh, this goes away. So I can blank those, variable. But now we have a way to, with one script, right, to get all those names with one script. So let me blank everything to clear all of those things. So let me clear this, right? Close the file and open again, right? To clear those things, Well, so I don't want that again here because I'm going to use that technique for my scripts. So instead of having those, right, we have a new way, right? And the new way will be, set tab, okay? And the set variable, I don't need, the set variable won't be there, So I just need to refresh the object, you understand? Because the variable will be set by the object, by the trigger. So I will show you. So now I use these scripts here. I'm going to use this script. This script needs, definitely, I need a parameter. Okay. I need a parameter. Okay. So technically, I'm going to enhance my custom function because, I want to add something here. Those double quote here, right? This is the data, and here I have the whatever here, this is a text, right? So I'm replacing with this text, and here I have the data, right? Right. So because of the evaluation, right? So, but I don't really need to do that. Let me see. Yeah, get repetition number. Okay. Get get value, I need the second. Okay, let me see if it works. Because I had everything ready and I don't know where it is. So now I want this slide, these scripts to do all the job for me, correct? All the job for me. So this is what I'm doing. I have a list, okay? Oops. And I said, set variable name. So which name I want of the variable? I want tab 1. And the data is the get trigger target panel, but remember this returned 2 values. And I want the first value, not 2, right? So get value of this, I want the first. So that will be my first parameter, and that will be my second parameter. So this is going to set the variable with that name, so $$ variable, $$ tab 1, and this will be whatever the variable data will be. And then I have this, okay? Correct? So let's see. Okay, so why it's not doing? It's doing something, but it says 0. Maybe I need to, I don't remember how I did that. I did that yesterday, I don't remember. So normally it should do this. It's doing something. Okay, hold on. I'll fix it for you. Um, okay. Otherwise, I have another technique. Maybe I have a better one than this one. This one is too clever, I think, because get value, the get trigger. Oh, I'm not there yet. Okay, yeah, I understand. Okay, I need to remove this from here. Don't panic. Set variable. Let me fix it and see if it works. Normally, it should fix it. Yeah. So let me explain. Okay. So I need this calc to be triggered after the parameter, because when I fire the parameter, that's why it doesn't work. When I fire this, the action of moving the slide didn't happen yet. It happens after, when the script is running, right? So I'm using a variable, which is a local, which doesn't stay, to evaluate that calculation. And then that calculation will create the $, the global variable that will stick. This don't stick, right? And then this do the tab 1, right? Correct? So, but I don't want tab 1 here. I want the get value of the script parameter, and the value number is 1. And here I want the 2, because I need to send 2 parameters to the script. First, I need to send the $, the $, the global variable that will stick. This don't stick, right? And then this do the tab 1, right? the name of the tab I want, which is tab 1, without the dollar dollar. You know, the function will do the dollar dollar. Dollar tab 1. But I need to put the name I want here, and then the name of the object I want to refresh. Then I have two parameters. So this will return this. This will return this. Okay? So I say get value of this. I want the first value, tab 1, for the naming of the variable, and then the second one for the name of the object I want to refresh. So in the script, right, for you to see, I'm setting a variable for you to see, okay, to understand. I'm setting a variable I name parameters, okay? And I say get script parameter. So this will collect the script parameter, okay? Here, I want the first value of param, and here I want the second value of param. Okay? So I collect the parameter, both parameter here. This I said, okay, get the value, the first value as a name of the variable. Then the content of the variable will be whatever the trigger panel we get. 1, 2, 3, right? And here, refresh the object with the name that you receive from the parameter, but it's the second one. So this script will look like this, right? That's why I love to use variable, because you can see what happened. Param, what shows in param? I have this. Tab 1, navigation 1. I have 2, okay, in param, right? So if I say get value of param 1, I have tab 1. 2, navigation 1, right? So easy. Then this will return this, right? No, this will even show because there's nothing here. Yeah, it's okay. But it's a support, the data, the local variable data is just to make in motion, create the other variable I need. And then you refresh the object, right? So let's say now, so now I have tab 1 that works here, okay? 1, 2, 3. Now, remember, I have this slide, the number 2, right? Is the 2, 1, right? So I want to use that parameter, right? And here I said list, I want tab 2.1 and refresh that object, right? And then I have this object here, same script, always the same script. And I say, okay, this the dot, hold on. What was the name of the variable here? It was the tab, yeah, 2.1.1. Okay, okay. Make sure that I get the same name. So it was 2.1.1 and 2.1.1, right? So that now my free tab use the same scripts to populate those variables. See? So now I don't need to have multiple scripts to generate variables. I can calculate them and you have a custom function that does that for you. So you can set a variable from anywhere. So I imagine that we have a lot of questions. I want to know where you didn't get things, and then I'm going to address those things. Marge, are you
Sorry,
there?
had the mute issues. Okay, there we go. We do have some questions. So sequence is the important part. I must know how FMP processes instructions.
FMP processing instructions. What do you mean by that?
Mike from Milwaukee, can you clarify real fast? I'll ask another question. Can't you further generalize this with the object name of the panel and evaluate that to the appropriate variable?
Object name in the panel. No, I don't want to put the object name here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to put just the number. You can use the object name if you want, right? But I prefer to use a number. It's clearer, you know, which panel you are in than using the names, right? Because I don't want to depend on the names too much here, right? Because here, when you send this, right, uh, I want the number of the panel because it gives you more flexibility to have only the number, right? You don't need to care about the name, okay? Because this variable is only used to activate the segments. Is that the use of it? Is here. Is for this calc, you know? Is for this calc. So you need to put the name here, tab 1, right? And you need to put the name of the variable that you're going to generate when you move the panel. That is important. That not the name of the object, that the name of the variable, $$ tab 1. Because this calc here rely on the variable name, okay? So you need to put here the name tab 1 with the $$ that you're going to generate when you move the objects. This is the name of the variable. It's not the name of the it's not the name of the objects, right? This will return a number 1, 2, 3, first, second, or third panel, first, second, or first panel. Then you take care of the name doing that way. Whatever button, because this is the name of the object, because this variable is to activate the object, button 1, button 2, button 3, right? So the object is named tab, not button, because you cannot have two objects with the same name on the same layout, right? I cannot have this object name object or square, okay, and then having another object with the same name. I can't, right? So that's why you name the button for what they are, button 1, 2, 3, right? And the slide, you name it tab 1, 2, 3.1.2, whatever, right? So because these objects will never return button 1 or button 2. This, if I do something like this, let's look. If I do this, okay, if I use the get this, it return 2 or tab 2. But I need button 2 to activate the button, but I don't have button 2, button 1, button 3. I have tab 1, tab 2. I don't care about this. I care about this. I'm using this number to say, okay, it's actually button 1 that I want, because slide 1, button 1. The first slide will activate button 1. The second slide will activate button 2, but I need the number. I need a number here. I put button like hard-coded name, button underscore, and then I say 1, 2, 3. And that gives me the name of the button based on the number of the slide that I want to go. That's why I don't rely on the name of their slide. I don't care about knowing that I'm going to slide tab 2. I don't care. I don't want to know tab 2. I want to know which number of the slide I'm going to. Then I can build the name of the button. Correct? So it's a kind of smart combination of the number of the slide I want to go, and I'm building the name of the button to get it activated, to get it the segment, the active segment, which one will be highlighted, right? Correct? Oh, here, right? Uh, is it
I
is
think
it
so.
okay? Right? What was the
Hmm.
first question that
Uh, it says he was asking about the order FMP processes each line of code.
mhm. I can
Uh,
go back there. Let me go
yes.
back there. Okay.
A lot of people said this
Let's
is blowing their minds. This is really awesome, but they're also their heads just exploded. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, but okay. You can, okay. If you're uncomfortable with this, you can use the old way, right? This is a intermediate like level. This is expert level. I agree with you, you know, and now I'm going to try my best to explain that to you. Okay, so let me try to explain to you. And I think the to get all the process back is the best way. Well, here I have an object, okay, and I have everything hinges on moving up the object, of getting to one slide to another, because this is the action that triggers the on panel switch trigger script trigger. Okay, moving from panel 1 to panel 2, that will trigger that script. Okay, well, I have a button here like a remote control that will ask that you want to go to a given object by its name. So here, for example, I said this one, I want to go to the object tab 1. This one said I want to go to the object tab 2. This object says I want to go to the tab 3. This is like a remote control, when you have a button, you want channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Okay. And the TV is going to switch from one channel to another, right? Okay. So far, so good. Okay. When I ask to go to another tab, that will trigger that script. Well, in that script, in the parameter, I said, okay, if you tap, if you double click here, if you click here, that will trigger this. And before you trigger that script, here the data you need to take in account. Wow. I want two parameters. And I'm using a list to do that because that's the best way. So let me explain the list stuff. I have a list, right? And I said, this is a parameter 1, right? Right? And this is a parameter 2, param 2. So I have two parameters now. I can continue, I can have multiple, I can say param free. So I have my parameters. So the script will receive this. Three parameters. Okay. So you say, okay, I want from my list of parameters, I want the second one, or the first, or the third, right? Correct? So far, so good. So before you trigger that script, right? I say, okay, I want the first parameter that the name of this variable, $tab one, $tab two, $tab three, okay? That the name of the variable, right? And then that the name of the object that I want you to refresh when you move that panel, right? So in that case, this is a slide, and this is a button bar that belongs to that slide. So when I move a slide from here, when I move from one panel to another from that slide, well, this is the object I want to refresh. When I move this slide, well, this is the object I want you to refresh. When I move this slide, this is the object I want you to refresh, because this is my remote control for that one. This is my remote control for that one. And this is my remote control for that one. When the trigger is fired, right? Well, I'm collecting my parameters. I have two. This variable is just a support. It's just a way to support a calc. We use that for you people using plugins and stuff like that. You are aware about this. That plugin needs to have a variable, right? In order to get the result you want from the plugin, correct? Well, so that's exactly the same thing. I'm using variable because I want to trigger a calc, right? So the calc here is the new custom function that I built for you that will use the name tab one. You remember the first parameter. It will use that name to name the $tab one variable. And this is the content of the result of that tab, of that variable, right? So this here will be this. So you understand? So in this script here, right? This here will put the name tab1, tab2.1, tab2.1.1. That will be the name of this, and this will be the value that this variable will show, right? Then, thanks to that variable, right? I know which panel is activated, the first, the second, or the third. Now, since I have numbers to tell me which panel it is activated, I say, okay, if I have on the panel number 2, like this one, I want this button to be activated. So I name my object button underscore, right? And then whatever number of the active panel, then that calculation here will say, okay, yes, so that the name you want, so that will return something like this, button 1, because the tab 1 says that I am on button 1. But if I use the tab dot, button 1, but this one button 2, for example, right? So I can build a name based on two factors: the prefix of the button underscore, that is hard coded, and then this is coming from a variable based on the active panel. Thanks to this calc will activate the right segment of my button bar. That's the sequence. That makes sense?
Uh, people are typing, so questions, comments, concerns. Does that make sense? Is it making less sense or making more sense? People like so we're doing with makes sense.
Anyway, you're going to get the file and you're
Hmm.
going to get the video and you can watch the video again and again and again and again and again.
Yes, and it was one of the things where doing it yourself a couple times will make it stick. There's some of Nick's
Yes.
techniques I only ever understood actually after I did them. So,
Yeah. It's yeah, okay. I agree with you. This is expert level, but if nobody will expose you, I mean, one day I was 4 years old, okay, and I didn't want to go to the swimming pool. I didn't want to go to the water. I was not interested. I was not attracted for this. And so I didn't want to go. And my father was tired of this because he knew that knowing to swim, living by the sea, spending vacation in Greece by the sea, owning a boat, right? He knew that knowing to swim could save my freaking life. So I was 4 years old. My father put me, those buoy, like, you put on your arm. He took
mhm.
me by my body and he tossed me in the swimming pool, right? And after 10 minutes, I didn't want to get out of this because so fun it was, right? So I'm doing exactly the same thing here, right? Oh, by the way, I was semi-professional in swimming, right? I won trophies, and I did that until I'm 16 and 17. I was doing that semi-professional, right? So, just for the story. But so yes, this is super advanced, super whatever, expert. But I want to expose you to this, because uh, I'm sorry, but I might have like 500, 600 slide control like this in my solution. Can you imagine 600 scripts? Let you know, one script for each, and you need to name the scripts, right? And make sure you name this and you name this. You want that? No, you want one script, right? You want one script and you want to hide this is bad, right? And you want to hide this forever from your site and never get there anymore, right? And then you get your right way, right? So it's not very complicated. I mean, the most complicated was this variable stuff, set variable name, right? But you don't need to understand the evaluation stuff. Okay. I can, get quick to the evaluation if we don't have any other question, but if you have a question, I prefer to answer questions.
Uh, I'm having a difficulty following when Nick clicked on the tab 2 button, the navigation went to slider with tab 3.
No. I'm on tab 2 here. Yeah, sometimes, when if I go layout mode and then go back, it do this because, when you go layout mode, you go back to the first tab by default.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. But that's a way to check that. That's a way to address this, right? And I will show you that too, how to address this, right? But it's because I was there and then I did this and then I did this and then you go back to tab 1 because, when you go layout mode, it resets. Also, I don't know why, and that get on my nerve, okay? When you do something like that and you create a new field, you go to manage database, right? And you validate this uh, it go to tab one, and it does this to everybody on the layer on the server. I do it again. I'm on tab three. Let's say you have everybody, but it does the same on this, right? So let's say you have everybody is working like this, and you go and you do this, and then you rename this, right? And then you validate this, puff, tab one, but this didn't reset, right? But it go back to tab. I don't know. Don't ask me why is doing this. So if you have 10 people connected and you do this, path, you know, you know. So now I know, when I have when I'm doing some stuff like this, and I work on the file live, and people are working on the file, they know if that happen, if the tab boom go and say, oh, Nick is working, right? But that's the problem, you know, and that include WebDrive, but it does the same on here, right? It reset to tab one. That's the only downside. So if you want to go, do we have any other questions?
Uh, uh, so quick like magic. Just people talking. I now have the power of a black hole in FileMaker. Variables are many a splendid thing. Usage here is very elegant in its execution. Love this stuff. So,
Yeah, the variable is key. I'm abusing variables. I'm doing because most of the time you can use variable because they localized in your computer, they in memory, or you don't need fields, and you don't need so you can do many things with variable without any field support, and that faster because you don't do the opening and the saving and the validating and all this process, right? And you don't want to create fields all over the place, you don't want, so the evaluation is pretty much like this. I can transform any text, you know so text. So if I say get, let's say I'm doing like something like this, okay? I'm doing get and and right, and right. So this is right. This is the calculation. Is the get current date, right? Is the get current date, right? Get current date. Where's the get current date, right? It's here. So let's put this, right? Get current date, right? It looks exactly like this, right? If I put get current date here, it will return the date. But this for FileMaker is not a calc, it's a piece of text. It's a piece of text that I fabricated with FileMaker block of text, right? It's fabricated. I fabricated it, right? But it looks like this. So now that I have this piece of text fabricated, I can say, by the way, FileMaker, evaluate me this piece of text as it was a calc. That's how evaluate means. That if what that was evaluate do. So if the content of my calculation, if the content of my, if I want to make one of this, right? For example, here, let's say I want to fabricate this to be this, for example. Okay, so let's eliminate that for now. If I want a calc to return, this is an interesting webinar, by the way.
Oh, yes. This has been awesome.
If I want this evaluation to return this, it return a date. If I want this calculation to return a time, if I want this to return a timestamp, ha! Yes, because I put part of the function fabricated here, right? The function here, I'm fabricating it. It's pure fabricated. And I say current time, current date, current timestamp. Actually, I can put all the current stuff here, all of those, like I want the current privilege set name. Yeah, because I have the get current, and this is coming from that field. Whatever current stuff is, right? By the same token, I can do something like this. I can get a calc. I must do a webinar on this. Let's say I have this field here, right? And I want the evaluation of this to be get current date plus 50. Poof. I got it. Or I want month name of this. I put that in the fields, but it's actually a function of April, right? And we can go far. You can say month name, look this, okay? Whatever month name of the date, you need to know by heart, but I have a way to do that. For example, I want to put here a calc, and I say, okay, I go to the data viewer, and I want to, I want a text to put that in the calc, right? So I said I want the month name of date, month, current date, so the month, so I can go far of the get current date, -1, day 1, year is the year of get current date, right? So to get the month before of the month today, right? So I have all this calc here, I copy this, and I put that here. Poof, it works. So now I have a calc in the field. So pretty much I can drive a field, I can drive a calc based on the calc on the field. So let's say you say, oh, I want that record to have this field, this calc, and I have another record. It's the get, I don't know, or privilege set name, right? Privilege, get privilege set name. Why didn't it work? Hold on. Oh, get, current privilege set name. So now this record for this calc will return full address. For this record, it return March. So I can, for each record, I can have a field that return different calcs. So you have one field, but for different record, you can have different calc, different results. Got it? Or a script can return something different. So the evaluation, you transform a piece of text that you can fabricate like this, and you can transform a piece of text into a valid function that a FileMaker can evaluate and get something out. Isn't that cool?
It's extremely cool. People are saying the evaluate is really clever. This is so powerful. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm using that, for example, let's say you have different type, let's say you have different type of invoices, right? And you want the amounts, right? Depending on the item, each item can have different type of calculation for the amount. That is something like we do often, right? Each type of item, like for example, the amount of an invoice when it's a product is quantity multiplied by unit price equal amount. But when it comes to labor, for example, well, it could be quantity multiplied by the hour, your price per hour that is on another table, and that the amount. So it's different, right? So you can say, okay, you say, oh, by the way, if this item is labor, type labor, okay, I want that calc, the amounts field, and if it's an item, I want another calc, but you have only one field amount. So that save you all this insanity of having multiple fields for different amounts, right? And with a bunch of case in your calculation, that's a case if, okay, case, item type equal labor, I want that calc. Otherwise, if item type equal labor, I want that, so you have a case, and if you have 100 type of item, invoice item, you have 100 type, how you do? A case with 100 statements? Not including how slow that would be, right? So you have a table where you say you create all the type of invoice you have, and you put in the field all the different calc you want the field to, look, can you take a note, Marge, and we will do a webinar next to that series. I'm going to do a webinar on, like, I think 2 weeks, about what you can do with evaluate, right? Because
Hmm.
this will open, this is a Stargate, okay? No, it's a Stargate. You change, look, you change dimension. You go to another dimension when you use this, okay? And this is what we call oriented objects. Okay, it's an oriented object way to build solution, right? If you want to see how this works, if you want, you go to this vertical, the schema design stuff, emerge this.
Yes.
We did something about this already, but I
Hmm.
can do another one where I'm going to show you all what you can do with this. Okay,
Hmm.
because this is a Stargate. I reduce the impact of my schema by at least a third, because I don't need to have these multiple calcs in the schema. I'm using a table and I'm putting all my calcs there, right? And yes, that's a way you can do to prevent breakage, you know? So it's yeah, it's another dimension when you do this, right? So FileMaker handled that very well, by the way, and not saying about how fast it is, how simple it is, right? To use that, and I'm using that all over the place. I don't, the case is something that I don't even use anymore, almost virtually, right? So why using case for those things when you can just build table, boom, okay? And we put all your calcs there, and you cherry pick the calc you want. You target the record where, when the car when the you target the record where the calc lives, and you suck the calc, and then you say evaluate that calc. So I'm going to do that. So take note that evaluate, we do at least a week, right? But maybe two. I don't know. But it's, yeah, the evaluation, you can create your own variable. You can you can have one field to have infinite results, right? So yeah, that is a big deal in FileMaker construction architecture.
That'd be
And
awesome. Mhm.
yeah, so, and not only, okay, so here we use that for this particular object that is the type control, right? But yeah, I understand, and I understand why the boss Rick is so pissed when I'm talking about this, because it looks like I want to swat a mosquito with an atomic bomb, but it's not. I mean, it's not that complicated. I have a script with 3 lines. Where is the complication? The complication is how the what the one of the guy online told us. What is the process? What is the construction? What is all the pieces of puzzle together? Because you need to assemble something. That's why we call components, because you assemble pieces, slide control, button bar, triggers, scripts, names. So you need to use the name in a clever way, to help you to support what you want to achieve. The button 1, button 2, button 3, So you use name to help you as a support, right? To get what you want. So I understand nothing is complicated here. I'm drawing a two button bar and 2 slides, and that's it, right? But it's how it is all together that is hard to get, right? And you can figure this out if you don't have a certain level, but I give all the pieces of the puzzle for you, right? So it's there, right? But it's necessary if you want to get something good. And I wish FileMaker could, okay, Claris, if you're listening, I know you do. Well, what can you do to make my life more, easier, and make all the people easier? When I was over there, I was, because here the prior with Claris, and Claris, if you listen, I know Rick is Kalman is listening, and Robert Forsey also. When I was over there, I had a huge argument and mostly with marketing people, because they have no clue what they do. The marketing people at Claris, they have no clue, because they don't know. They sell FileMaker, they sell peanuts, they sell cars, they sell whatever. For them, it's the same thing. They sell products. Okay, but FileMaker is not a product. FileMaker is an environment. It's a platform. It's not a product. It's something living. It's a living entity. Okay. It's like you don't sell cars like you sell dogs or pets, right? It's a different logistic. So, uh, Claris, I was saying, help me, like a power developer, help me make my life easier, right? And then it will down, it will do like a waterfall like this. It will say you will help the little guy to get access to what he can't right now, because you need the knowledge of a power user, to get access to that power. But if you help me to release the power, then the little guy can do it, right? They couldn't make sense. So they couldn't understand that. They say, "Oh yeah, Nick, but you are 1%. You 1% of the." I said, "Did you listen what I'm saying?" I said, "If you help me, you help all the people behind, right? All the people you have, oh, yeah, impossible to get them to understand anything." So I gave up, right? So because if I had a button like this, if I have, like, say, an option, if I had a function that give me all, if I had here, for example, here, if I have a better way to do that, right? A better way, like a function, I don't know, something something I want. And Claris, maybe they listen, but Eric Schmidt, if you listen, you know MBS, I want here the get segment number and segment name. That's what I want here. Which segment I'm here. I get the name and the number. I am in the second one, right? This button here is the second segment. I want to get the name and the number, like this, like sorry, I'm using this as a platform to say what I want. So I want this not only for the panel. I want to get here. I get this, the number and the name, right? The number of the tab of the slide and the name of the slide. I want the same here for the button bar segments, right? I want to get segments, data, whatever, right? Attributes. Get segment attribute. That's what I want. I even get you the name of what I want, because that will save a lot, all of those things, right? Because I can say, okay, I want the segment 2 to be activated. Here, get segment 2. That's it. Anyway, uh, question, or we can close for today. Close the shop for today.
Uh, I think we're good for today. So
Okay.
thank you very much, Nick. Today has been awesome. I will definitely come talk to you about the evaluate stuff. So that'll be an awesome mini series.
Yes.
Uh, thank you,
And
everybody.
I'm going to send you this file right now.
Yes, so I can share tomorrow. Thank you
Yes.
everyone for coming. I hope you all have a good one, and I will catch all of you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Nick.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.